Hello everyone, I'm Ankit and you're watching StudyIQIAS English. Now for some reason, the Jal Jeevan mission is back in focus both of the government as well as of the media. So in our today's video, we'll try to understand the reasons behind the same. Now, the reason why we have picked up this particular topic for our today's discussion is because there are many concerns over the inflated cost of works which was undertaken in the first phase of the Jal Jeevan mission, and as a result the central government is set to undertake the rationalization exercise. That is, before giving the funds to the state governments for the implementation of the scheme, they will try to scrutinize it more. And for that reason, the newer initiatives of the central government for the scrutinization part of the scheme becomes very important. But to understand the scheme properly, we need to first go through its objectives, then we'll cover the components of the scheme, then we'll try to understand how the funding pattern of this scheme particularly works before learning about the socio-economic impact that this kind of a scheme has on the women of India. That is why this scheme becomes very important, and the notes which I will be using in our today's session, in case if you want to download them, you can go to this particular Telegram channel called as ATS Live, and while you're at it, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel also. Okay, now this scheme was introduced back in 2019, and see the date when it was introduced, that is August the 15th, which has ultimately a historical significance for Indian politics. Now, this scheme was announced by Prime Minister Narendra Modi from the ramparts of Red Fort, and you'll be surprised to know what this scheme actually wants to do. Now, for normal homes, especially in urban areas, having a functional tap water connection is a normal thing, right? But this was a luxury for many rural households, because of over 18 crore rural households, nearly 14.6 crore of them, that is about 82% of rural households, did not have a household functional tap water connection. And as a result, the objective of this scheme was to provide a functional household tap connection to all rural households in India through Har Ghar Nal initiative. Now, this initiative was undertaken by Ministry of Jal Shakti back in 2019. Ministry of Jal Shakti was created specifically for this purpose, and it wants to target and install functional tap water connections in 16 rural households by the end of 2024. Okay, so this is the bare bones of this scheme. Now let us understand, besides installing functional tap water connections in the rural households, what the scheme wants to do. Now, first of all, the scheme prioritizes functional tap connections for quality affected areas, drought prone villages, desert areas, and Sansad Adarsh Gram Yojana covered villages. Similarly, it also wants to ensure functional tap connections in common areas in the villages, be it schools, health and wellness centers, community buildings, as well as Gram Panchayat buildings. Also, it wants to monitor the functionality of the tap connection, so just mere installation is not enough. This scheme will continue whether the house where the household tap connections have been installed, they are getting the water or not. And in order to promote voluntary ownership, so as that people think that this functional tap water connection is not merely a government initiative but something that belongs to them, the government is promoting voluntary ownership among local communities, and they will themselves contribute some funds, a bare minimum of funds, to install these water connections, so that there is a sense of belongingness among the people, right? Additionally, what the scheme wants to do, it ensures the availability of sustainable water systems, including water resources, infrastructure, and funding of regular operation and maintenance. And not just this scheme wants also to empower and develop human resources who will be responsible for construction, maintenance, operational, as well as other aspects of the scheme. Similarly, learning about the importance of having a clean source of drinking water is very important, and the government is looking to create awareness about the same in this scheme. So these are the objectives of the scheme, and let us now understand how the scheme will be implemented through its various components. First component, let us understand them one by one. First component, it wants to source funds from different multiple programs of the ministry of the central government, as well as ensure convergence among these funds, so that these funds are provided to the Jal Shakti ministry. Now, let us talk about how the water will be sourced. Now, water will be sourced from two different aspects. First, the government will develop and augment a reliable drinking water source very close to the village so as to ensure the long-term sustainability. And if there is no possibility of developing a water source near the village, then the water will be sourced from a nearby water body like rivers and lakes through bulk water transfer, and if need be, the water will also be treated, and technological interventions will also be set up to treat grey water. Grey water is the water which after the usage of humans, right? So these are the grey water, and you require them to be treated so that they can be used again sustainably. So these kind of infrastructure will be set up. Additionally, now the connections will be established in village through pipe water supply infrastructure. So you need to create that, and the government will also ensure retrofitting of the ongoing tap connections so that the government is able to provide at least 55 liters of per capita water per day through these functional tap water connections. Now, additionally, the government will also create support activities for information, education and communication, developing of human resources, providing them with training, development of utility resources, water quality laboratories, as well as capacity building of the local communities. And the government is also looking to address unforeseen challenges which might take place in case unfortunately a disaster strikes the rural area. So these are the important components of the scheme. Now, let us understand why this scheme becomes so important for many people in rural India. Now, the socioeconomic impact of this scheme starts that it will be able to save 5.5 crore hours of man work daily, and primarily women who otherwise spend their time in collecting the water will save much needed time which they can utilize for other important activities throughout the day. Similarly, it can also prevent nearly 4 lakh deaths which can happen through diarrheal disease in case if you don't have access to clean water, and it will also save approximately 14 million disability adjusted life years. So imagine if a person becomes ill, naturally he won't be able to be very productive when it comes to work. Similarly, it will also provide safe water coverage which will reduce mortality among children, especially under 5, by nearly 30%. And most importantly, it creates direct and indirect employment, nearly 60 lakh of direct and 2.2 crore of indirect employment just in the construction phase, and nearly 13.3 lakh person years worth of work through direct employment used in operation and management of this particular infrastructure. So these are the socio-economic impact of the scheme. And now let us understand the funding pattern. Now this scheme essentially is a centrally sponsored scheme, which means the funds used for this scheme is shared between union as well as the state governments. Now the pattern is 50-50 for most of the states except Himalayan and northeastern states, where it will be 90:10 ratio, with 90% funds given by the union government and rest 10% funds given by the respective state governments. Whereas far as union territories is concerned, naturally 100% funding will be given by the central government. Now, what is the current status of the scheme? The current data which I've sourced belongs to December 2025. It shows that 81% of tap connections have been delivered in the past 6 years, and remaining 3.44 crore connections are still pending, and therefore the government has sought extension of the scheme up till 2028 December in order to complete the remaining work. Now, when the scheme is getting extended, naturally the Ministry of Jal Shakti demanded extra funds. They demanded about 2.79 lakh crore rupees extra from Ministry of Finance in order to keep this mission ongoing up till 2028. But naturally the Ministry of Finance was concerned over irregularities, corruption and poor quality of work that have been undertaken in the first phase of the scheme. So therefore central government, it launched a crackdown on widespread irregularities and also made an additional allocation to the governments, but it was only 1.151 lakh crore which will be given up till 2028 for keeping the scheme ongoing. And government has also introduced many initiatives. The purpose of these initiatives is to digitally map in order to ensure transparency and accountability of this scheme. So how digital mapping of this scheme ensures transparency and accountability? Let us understand that. Now, first of all, as I told you, this is a centrally sponsored scheme. So majorly, even if the funds are provided by the central government, the on-ground implementation is taken by the state governments. And for that, central funding becomes very important. Now, what the central government has done, it has laid down certain conditionalities and fulfilling those conditionalities only will the states receive from the central government. So let us look what are the safeguards that the central government has laid down here. Central government has said that you need to sign another MOU with us, and additionally you will also have to create Sujal Gaon IDs which will ensure complete digital mapping of all rural water supply schemes in a particular urban area. Similarly, the state government should also ensure timely financial reconciliation of the ongoing project work and should also ensure notification of operation and maintenance policies which are very necessary for sustainable and continuous provision of water through these pipe connections which the government are installing. Additionally, the government has also created a Sujalam Bharat initiative, which is a uniform national digital framework. Now, what this Sujalam Bharat initiative actually does, that every village in India where these functional tap water connections have been installed will be assigned a unique Sujal Gaon ID, also called as service area ID. And this will ensure that the digital mapping work will complete drinking water supply will take place from source to tap. So government through the ID will be able to tap and see whether water supplies are ongoing or not. Similarly, the Gram Panchayats as well as village water and sanitation committees will be involved in the process of commissioning and formal handover of the work done through the scheme. And the Gram Panchayat, its responsibility would be to certify completion of works and declare the particular village as Har Ghar Jal village only after the confirmation that the state government has laid down the operational and maintenance policies or not. So this is how the government has decentralized the implementation, made Gram Panchayat the agency responsible for monitoring the scheme, and also made sure that even the state governments become accountable through them by laying down conditionalities. And with introduction of digital framework, the government right sitting in the Delhi will be able to track the implementation progress as well as the continuation of the benefits that are provided through this particular scheme. Understood? So these are the important aspects that we had to deal with in our today's video regarding the Jal Jeevan mission. Now, before we move forward and deal with a question that might appear in the UPSC exam based on the kind of discussion we had today, you need to understand right now we are offering 60% off on all the courses on StudyIQ, and this will continue only up till 27th of March, that is tomorrow. Now, to take admissions on the scheme, please understand the batches start from tomorrow morning itself, and to take admission in these morning videos, that is from 26th of March, where I will be teaching economy, please go to our website. Before making the payment, if you apply the code ATS Live, you're not just get 60% off, but additional discounts also. So keep that in mind before you make the payment. And the important question that can appear on the scheme, the Sujal Gaon ID is what? Please do let me know the correct answer of this question in the comment section. And if you're waiting to download the notes, this is where you can go. The Telegram channel is called as ATS Live. And while you're at it, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel also. So this is all from my side for today. Please have a very good night. We'll see each other again quite soon.